their bows and arrows, drew their swords like veteran heroes, charged the foe with native valor, routed them, and took their color.
So runs the old border ballad, telling of the offensive defence of Hawick after the Battle of Flodden. Hawick lies deep in the Scottish border country, where for hundreds of years, constant warfare between the Scots and English broke into the peace of its hills and valleys. Today, the borderland is peaceful farming country. But once a year, the hills again re-echo to the sound of horses' hooves as the young men of Hawick ride round their boundaries in memory of those fights against the old invaders. After the Battle of Flodden, English marauders advanced upon the almost defenseless town. Then the young men of Hawick rode out, routed the English, and captured their standard. Once a year, the captured flag is carried in triumph round the ancient boundaries, when it becomes the occasion for a festival of singing, dancing, and sport. The standard bearer is given the title of cornet. To show how seriously his post is held, he must be unmarried, nor may he marry during the following 2 years. With the cornets of the previous 2 years, he dips the colours in the River Teviot, marking a boundary of the old common land. Many of the ceremonies date back to the days before Christianity. The traditional song, Tiribas ye Tiri Odin, comes from an old prayer to the heathen gods Thor and Odin. It's from this song that the people of Hawick have been given the name of Tiris. For 3 days every year, Hawick takes a holiday. For the rest of the year, they knit. Not just ordinary knitting, but knitting that has made Hawick famous. For in this little border town, generations of Tiris have been turning out hosiery of high quality for close on 200 years. The original industry was founded on the border wool trade. Today, the hosiery men of Hawick use mainly cashmere yarns from Manchuria, Angora from France, and soft lamb's wool from the Western Isles of Scotland. To be a Tiri, you must have been born in Hawick, of parents born in the town. If your grandfather was born in Hawick too, that clinches it. You're a Tiri. The classic simplicity of Hawick sweaters calls for great skill in their design. The springy waistbands are knitted separately, while the fronts and backs of the sweaters are knitted on these machines. Every piece is fully fashioned so that the finished article will still have the quality of home knitting. Modern machinery has replaced the needlework of the housewife, but the principle is still there. In, over, through, and off. The same basic stitches, but produced on needles as fine as hat pins at 100,000 stitches a minute. It's the more complicated designs of cable stitch and intricate laces that show up the skill of the Tiri craftsman. Sports sweaters with special designs, like those worn by the Canadian Olympic ice hockey team, are a job for the hand-operated machine. Generations of skill go into the nimble fingers and dancing footwork of the operator. Although machinery has helped to speed the process, every garment is assembled and finished by hand. It's nearly 200 years since Bailey John Hardy introduced the first stocking frames to Hawick and started the industry. In spite of the development of machinery, it's managed to keep the craftsmanship of the old cottage industry from which it grew. The secret of its quality lies chiefly in the finishing, and anyone who knits her own sweaters might gather some useful information from the way it's done by the experts. In a foam bath with pure soap and soft hot water, wooden clubs pound out the oil from the yarns, giving them the soft fleeciness that the Thieries call a perfect handle. While still hot and wet, the sweaters are carefully stretched over wooden models. It's by quick drying on these models that they attain their final and permanent shape. They'll only lose this shape if they're once again soaked in very hot water. That's why they'll tell you never to wash woolens in water much more than lukewarm and with pure soap flakes. There's an atmosphere of homeliness about the whole process, perhaps because they're doing very much the same things that anyone does who knits a sweater or a pair of socks. That's why the finished article has that hand-knitted quality. Every Hoyk sweater is perfectly designed, long-wearing and as warm as tweed, yet it still has a soft and downy lightness. Their quality is the quality of a people whose traditions survive in their daily work no less than in their border songs and dances.
Come to the latest safety standard. I was there, bring defendant. I was there, bring defendant. I was there, bring defendant. Come to the latest safety standard. I was there, bring defendant.
As the cornet ties the town's colors on the memorial statue, saluting his heroic forerunner, his followers take up the refrain of the Moss Troopers' song.
What though our lads are wild a wee and ill to keep in order, mangst other tunes she bears the gree, Hoyk's queen o' the border.